Alright, how we doing, folks? Monday, October 3rd, 2016. Rich Van Tassel here with you. Boy, it has been a long day for me. We're giving you the game preview of tonight's Monday Night Football game. Last night I watched just quickly, a quick note, last night I watched the first half of the Pittsburgh-Kansas City game. The final was 43-14. Uh, Nothing to really talk about with that one. Pittsburgh came out, stomped Kansas City early, so now we're getting in to the Minnesota Vikings hosting the New York Giants. Minnesota 3-0. The New York Giants 2-1. Injuries for the Giants and only the Giants because the Vikings have no one listed. Marshall Newhouse, offensive tackle, out. So is Darian Thompson, the safety. Eli Apple, the cornerback, is doubtful. Rashard Jennings, running back. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, cornerback, are questionable. No injuries, as we just said, for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, you look, again, I've said it 100 times. I expect more than 100 times, but I expect questionables to go, but certainly questionables sometimes can't play. For instance, Dez Bryant was questionable at one point yesterday. Along with Darian Thompson being out and Eli Apple being doubtful, I usually expect doubtfuls to not go. If Cromartie can't go, you have some injuries in the secondary that are going to be critical. Now, Sam Bradford has been playing well. There's no one who scares you that much on the Minnesota side of the ball. But with these injuries, I would be interested to see if Laquan Treadwell, sort of has a breakout game, the rookie. Stephon Diggs is their best receiver, but I would expect Minnesota to try to get Treadwell involved, especially if Rodgers-Cromartie cannot go. Also, Marshall Newhouse out on the offensive line. Let's see how the Giants adjust to that. For Minnesota, their defense is really what's winning them games. They're not running the ball with or without Adrian Peterson. Sam Bradford's been efficient, but he's not been great. Looking at it, I mean, he's under 500 yards through 3 games this season. Now, he didn't play the first game, but still, he's at about 230 yards per game, the second and third games that he's played. So he's not, lighting the world on fire. Stephon Diggs, as we said, is playing pretty well. Let's see with the Odell Beckham Jr. and the what I would expect Xavier Rhodes matchup. Maybe they would even consider putting Trey Waynes on him. We discussed this yesterday with Antonio Brown against Marcus Peters. Odell Beckham Jr. is a little bigger than Antonio Brown. He's got about an inch on him and a little bit bigger, stature-wise in the body. But you look at a guy like Xavier Rhodes who handles bigger, more physical wide receivers, which Odell Beckham Jr. is not. Odell Beckham Jr. is a speed burner. So I would really like to see how Minnesota is going to adjust to play Beckham in this one, because I don't think Xavier Rhodes is a good matchup for him. Xavier Rhodes is a quality corner, but again, just the type of bodies the two have, I don't really like that matchup. The Giants, hey, they've been turning the ball over. It's kind of gone unnoticed the past 2 weeks. Certainly that Washington game, they really didn't play well. Shouldn't have been in the game. They were, but, that is what it is. We'll have to see how they come out tonight, but I think the Giants are going to win this game. I don't really know why. I just think Minnesota's due for a loss, and the Giants are going to come in. I mean, you look at the injuries, you look at, the turnovers sort of creep back in. It's a little hard to say why the Giants would win, but I don't think Minnesota's going to be able to run the ball. And, similar to what you saw the Week 1 game when the Giants played the Cowboys, they're just going to stack the box, even though you really don't have to against the Vikings, and they're going to make Sam Bradford throw, and I think they're going to be able to keep him from making the completions in this game, and Bradford's going to struggle with this one. It'll be a low scoring game. I don't expect Eli Manning to, light the world on fire in this one. He'll probably throw an interception or two, maybe even fumble, who knows. But I just think the Giants find a way to come away with this victory. I'm liking 20-16 as the Giants are able to find the end zone twice. Minnesota only able to find the end zone once. Alright, so we'll probably give you a recap of this one tomorrow. Depends on how much of the game I watch. If I watch the whole thing, I'll try to do it late tonight, but I got to get up early, so we'll see how that works. For the recap of this game, be sure to stay tuned for that. Remember, we appreciate all subscriptions, and anyone who wants to spread the word about my videos, please watch. It would really help me out. I'd appreciate that very much, and we'll see you later on. Have a good one.